to another host and the eternal optimist of the group, Jared Levison. In the bottom right corner again, we have Tommy Hunter. Tommy, I'm surprised he even showed up after that horrid performance out of the pen today.
I'm not real.
In the bottom corner, we got Drew. We'll see how things play out, Michelle. And in the top right, we got Jimmy, wannabe Skip Bayless, Nolan. Today we're going to be talking about the Mets' 10-0 loss to the Brewers, which only happened a couple hours ago, and reviewing our opening series with the Miami Marlins, which I think, by all accounts, went pretty well. So, how's everyone feeling today?
Scared again? I don't know. Every week till September, I'm just going to be scared. So this is what it is.
Every week.
Especially after a 10-0 loss. I mean, it feels like these 10-0 losses usually come a little bit later in the season, but hopefully we got that one out of the way and we don't see one for another long time.
Pretty depressed.
Already?
No, I'm just kidding.
What else is going on in your life, Drew? It's not just the Mets, is it?
No, it's at work and following along with the StatCast and stuff like that, and then I look away and then grand slam and the Mets are down 10-0, and I just, you get that feeling as a Mets fan. It's like nostalgic almost. Like I just remember as a kid listening to Mets radio in the backseat of my dad's car. Oh, and there's a grand slam. My dad slams the radio off. Quiet right home. I felt like a kid again, man.
See, we're so damaged because the nostalgia we have about the Mets is like, yeah, when they lost. Yeah, that was my nostalgia as a kid,
Does that count as nostalgia? I feel like nostalgia is always associated with, like, good things.
I think the word you're looking for is trauma.
Yeah, trauma.
Not nostalgia.
Yeah.
I think we need therapists.
We definitely do. We need like a whole. I think the Mets, like Cohen, should like, since he's been dropping all these new things, new sandwiches at the stadium and shit like that. He should make like a Mets therapist. Yeah, which it's gonna be pretty hard to get now with the 30-second pitch, 30-second pitch clock. Jesus, can't get that one off. But yeah, it's gonna be hard to get the food
You were
there.
Tommy Hunter on the mound this afternoon. I don't know.
Oh, well, what about Carrasco? He was flustered, too. We can't just knock on Tommy Hunter without knocking Carlos Carrasco.
So I felt like an idiot for saying that Carlos Carrasco was my preseason pitcher of the year for the Mets.
There's still time. There's still time.
I have faith in Cookie. I mean, he's gotten to the point, what is he, 36, 37? He's not throwing high heat anymore. He's throwing a lot of changeups, curveballs, a lot of more off-speed stuff. And it looked like early on that, I mean, he was having some success. He struck out Yelich. He had 4 strikeouts on the whole. And then, I don't know, things just started to fall apart. I don't know. What'd you guys think of Carlos's first appearances here?
He stunk.
That's not true.
Oh, he stunk. He stunk. He got lit up.
Let him be a hot take. Let him be the hot take.
It's not even a hot take. Just look at the stat line. He let up 5 runs today, only 4 strikeouts. I mean, what I was just upset with Carrasco about is, like, the pitch clock affected him so much today.
Oh, yeah.
It was, like that was, and even on the offensive side, we saw Canna get struck out. But I'm not too worried about it. It's early in the year. But if, Carrasco had a pretty bad year last year, too, in the second half of the year. So, hopefully he could fix this, and really it just looked like he was just a mess because of the pitch clock.
I don't think he was that bad. Like, I think he certainly had his warts, but like 2 of the 5 runs that he gave up were because Tommy Hunter got on the mound with no outs, and I think Buck kept him in way too long than he should have been. He had no business coming back out there in the 5th with 82 pitches already pitched. Like, that's on Buck a little bit too.
True. That's a great point. And, he had 4 walks, so that is actually a great point. I mean, I feel like Buck kind of wanted to get a lot out of Cookie today because we've seen a lot of the bullpen lately. But I think he pushed him a little too hard. That was a great point.
I mean, him not eating innings, we'd really like to see Cookie for, 6 innings at least. It's having 4 to start the season. It's at least a bad taste in your mouth. But yeah. Oh, Drew, what about you?
It's a fall from grace. Opening up with the series win. Some, pretty good pitcher performances bar Scherzer in that 1 inning, but I think overall the series against Miami, our pitching really excelled. Our relievers did what they had to do. and got the job done. And then we go into this game. Cookie Carrasco, I know he was your preseason MVP. It's tough to see him perform like this. I think I'm looking at a statistic where he can't throw a fastball past, what is it, 92, 93?
Yeah.
It's crazy. 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, 5 earned runs, only 4 strikeouts on 96 pitches. Like that is just. It doesn't even seem like a major league stat line. I don't know.
Are we at the point where David Peterson is the best pitcher in the Mets rotation? Or not best. I'll say most reliable. Like, I feel confident he's going to go 5 innings every night and things will go well pretty much throughout the entire season.
I love David Peterson.
I do too.
Like obviously he didn't get the result he wanted. Like his game against the Marlins the other night was kind of like a DeGrom kind of start. Like no run support. Like he did like obviously he didn't go the max innings. He didn't have like crazy amount of strikeouts, but just like looking at what happened and how the game progressed, like a 2-1 loss. Like that's such a DeGrom. That was and I don't want. Sorry, I put them in the same sentence.
No, it's fine. I mean,
I'll apologize.
We know. I know what you meant. You compared him like because we always saw it with DeGrom, especially, but. Like you guys just brought up a great point. Peterson is very reliable. We saw him very reliable last year too when the starts he had. I feel like flip-flopping bullpen to start and roll, it's just not good for him. So if he can be in a full-time start and roll and he can really take advantage of it and really cement himself and push Buck into keeping him there, then I think he'll show it because I don't think he's the best pitcher, but like you said, Josh, he's the most reliable pitcher.
It's just sad that it's like Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, all these guys. It's like, well, I feel the best about David Peterson over the course of the season, honestly, because I don't think that he will get hurt. I think he'll be out there every 5th day, and I think he'll pitch fine. Like, maybe not as good as like you'd want to do in an ideal situation, but I think a 3.5 ERA could be the best on this team if things go really wrong.
Oh, it seems like Peterson's kind of molding into that Bassett role, at least potentially from last year, just being that reliable guy. Makes his 30 starts, is there every 5th day, gonna give you good performance, maybe, every once in a while, something like, stellar, excellent. And then sometimes he might shit the bed, which, David Peterson has done. But did you guys catch though the Steve Gelb's feature on David Peterson?
I did not. Oh, with his father? Yes.
Dude, his dad dies. Oh. His family's like mourning in the living room. He hears the news. He's 9 years old, goes upstairs, puts on his baseball uniform, and he's like, all right, I have a game today. And they're like, David, you don't have to go. And he's like, no, I want to play baseball. And he throws a no-hitter. Like, yeah, he's 9, but like ever since then, he's like, yeah, I just don't get fazed by anything on the mound. Like baseball, like it's just I'm locked in, super focused. I was like, how's it taking this long? He's been a Met for the last 3 years, and we finally hear this story.
I thought I remember hearing an article about it shortly after he got called up by like Tim Britton or someone like that about the topic of his father dying when he was really young. But I don't remember that exact story. But like, I think sometimes even we forget, like, as much as baseball is like a refuge to us as fans, for the players, it's just as much that from them because it's like the one place they can go where like they just do what they're supposed to do. And if things go right, everyone loves them. Like, it's a sad reality, but like, a lot of people get into sports because like they're good at it and people love them for it.
I agree. And then when you factor in, you've got toxic fans around, moments like these, like tonight, Cookie Carrasco, given, it's not a performance you want to see, but I also really hope he bounces back. Not just because I'm a Mets fan, but just as a person. I know it's hard to go out there and get shelled, but at the end of the day, nobody's perfect, but we love Cookie.
So how should we, I guess, react to this Mets 10-0 loss to the Brewers? Like, should we be, calling for someone to get sent down, pushed up? Is it time to press the alert button on the rotation? Like, how are you guys reacting to this? Big deal, not a big deal?
I think the bigger deal that we should really mention now is that every pitcher on the Mets 40-man that's in the minors is now hurt. So and that's a true thing. Like, there's no one else. The cupboard is completely bare at this point. So if things go wrong, if let's say someone gets hurt, we're stuck with this team for at least, I don't know, 3 weeks. I don't know when everyone's expected to be back in the minors, but that's what it at least projects to be. So there's nothing you really can do about this.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, I feel like it's just too early in the season to tell. Like, yeah, Eduardo Escobar is struggling. Other guys like Cookie Carrasco, we saw him struggle today. But I just think it's too early in the season. Let's give the guys, like, at least like Josh said, just a couple weeks. Because we know, like, if shit hits the fan, we have Steve Cohen as our owner. He's not going to let Billy Epler just not make a move. So we just got to be patient. As long as we're in it and in this NL East race, we'll be fine. Like the moves will be made if they have to. Beatty's tearing it up. Vientos is tearing it up. So that's nice to see. So if shit hits the fan, we got guys, we got reinforcements down low, and we can always make that move with the trade because you know Cohen.
We're already talking about the Ohtani,
the Steve Cohen Bank of Scrooge McDuck that we're just going to dive into and everything will be fine. I don't know.
He's coming. I know you guys maybe thought I was joking, but he'll be here.
Ohtani?
About it. Yeah.
I think it's going to be us and the Dodgers in the race for it.
But to Josh's point, you know, like we got this good group here. Like, there's no reason to even get to that point of talking about Stevie like wanting to like fix and change things right away, and like Billy Epler pulling guys from there and pulling guys from somewhere else. Like, we don't even need to get to that point yet. We're not in when's the trade deadline? Like July. We're not even close to that. Like, let's see how this group bounces back. Let's see how they do. Like, we haven't even played a home game yet.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Also, like, Steve Cohen's money's great, but like, we can't do anything with it right now. Like, now that we're in the season, you can't just sign someone really good off the scrap heap and be like, done, easy, we got him. You're gonna have to give up prospects or someone on the major league roster, and I don't think this team has to worry about getting to that point quite yet. I think this is a good time to transition to the offense, though, because that to me has been more alarming.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess what I was just trying to allude to is that, like, if shit does hit the fan, we know that we do have an owner like that will make that move, and we do have the reinforcements down low. I don't think we have to, like, go there right now, obviously, but, you know, it's just if shit does hit the fan, we got it in our back pocket. So I don't think we should be worried for either scenario.
So, regardless if shit hits the fan, we have Luis Guillorme,
who is
the best. He was the second best two-way player in Major League Baseball.
This year.
I mean, for the Mets. Okay, you said Mets offense thoughts. I mean, today we only had 3 hits.
Yep.
That's alarming. I mean, we could have had 4, but Daniel Vogelback thought he was like Jose Reyes or something.
No, that still counts as a hit, though.
Yeah?
It counts as a single.
It's a single, yeah.
Ah, damn.
But
still, like,
maybe don't.
Yeah, I knew it.
Know your role. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be rude, but like, know your role and just do that, and we'll be fine.
The bases are 6 inches bigger, but you did not get any faster because of that. Like, let's
I don't know, man. He's moving pretty quick, I gotta say.
Not quick enough, though.
You could tell right when the right fielder got the ball. I'm like, oh, he's out. Like, he's not.
Oh, yeah.
He's not making it.
There was that cut to. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it reminds me of Dom Smith getting thrown out for a sure double. Like,
but like Dom, like, he was big, but he's not like Vogelback big. Like, you could think Dom could at least make it close. Like, Vogelback was out so like.
Vogie was trying to boost the slugging percentage.
Yeah, like, what was that base?
That's what he was trying to do. He was trying to stat pad. He was like, "Oh, I could get there."
I mean, I guess it's early in the season. They want to try out, like, oh, let's see if the bases are a little bit bigger. Let's see, stretching some certain, stretching a single and a double. Let's try that more often. See how aggressive it is. So maybe they're just trying some stuff out, and once they get a big enough sample size of stuff happening, like, who knows what those data people are doing in there. Stuff will clean itself up.
I think maybe something they should try is hitting the damn ball. Jeff McNeil, 211. Pete Alonso, 176. Brandon Nimmo, 167. Lindor, 143. Like, what? I don't understand. Do I need to go to Milwaukee and tell them to figure it out in person? I don't understand what's going on. We're watching 3 hits in a baseball game. It's ridiculous. It's unfathomable.
You can't name drop Jeff McNeil.
You can't. Not
bottom of the lineup.
I hate to compare it, but it's getting annoying because I got friends that like that other disgusting New York team, and all they're talking about is batting average, and it's embarrassing at this point. I mean, it's been a problem since last year. I said we need more power bats, we need more bats. Nothing has changed. It seems like nothing will change. I don't get it.
Yeah, but we got time. I just feel like, we're always going to get shit from those guys just because, like, especially with Judge getting off to the start he's getting off to and from last year. I feel like we just need, once Lindor gets, like, that first big hit, I think we're going to unlock him. And also, like you alluded to, though, but, like, the front of the starting lineup, the front half of it, like our guys, Alonso, Lindor, Nimmo, McNeil, they haven't really been pulling through. It's been surprisingly Tommy Pham, Mark Hanna. I would wish I could say Eduardo Escobar at that bottom of the lineup, but unfortunately I cannot. Omar Narvaez. Yeah. I mean, defensively he can clean a few things up, but offensively he's been great. Oh, you're muted.
You're muted, Jared.
Yeah, it's a good thing because I just had to drop an F-bomb right there, even though we don't have ad revenue to risk. All right, so we kind of just, Jimmy, I'm actually glad you mentioned some of those new additions there. I think it's a good time to pivot maybe to the Marlins series a little bit. Talk about some good things because like there's a lot of good things in that series. Omar Narvaez coming in big, Mark Hanna coming in big, Kodai Senga making his pro debut. Tommy Pham getting like 3 hits and a home run. The bullpen stepped up big time, like against a Marlins team that looked dangerous at times, especially offensively. So who was your guys' player of the series from that Marlins series just a couple days ago?
How do we want to go in order with this?
You talked first, Josh, so maybe you.
I will be the first one to go. My MVP is going to be David Robertson. I know he only pitched 2 games, but I think the closer spot is something we are going to talk a lot about this year. I don't think it's always going to be Robertson. I think it'll probably be a revolving door. But to see him come out, and we knew he had the talent, but to just come out there, close out the first game of the series, and close out, I believe, the third, it was just nice to see. Like, there's something really good about just having a nice, good closer out there, and he'll never be Edwin Diaz. There's no hope of that. But he's a very capable player, and I think that's something to be commended for.
Okay. I have no problem with that answer. I mean, it was nice to see, like, yeah, it's just like, all right, good. Like, he's kind of eased some nerves a little bit at least.
Yeah, this isn't Tommy Hunter closing. It's like an actual guy that knows what he's doing. He's not afraid. And then even if things go wrong with him, we have Adam Ottavino. So I guess, like, on the whole, I would just say the bullpen.
Bullpen was spectacular. I have their numbers as a whole somewhere. Where was it? They had 13.2 innings, 1 earned run, 3 walks, and 16 strikeouts. So, solid group. Drew Smith looks strong. Ottavino looks strong. Nagosic went 2 innings in relief. So the group's coming together. He still kept his mustache too, which was good. I'll go next. My player of the series was Omar Narvaez. I was in between Mark Hanna and him, but Narvaez, he slashed 429, 444, 429, 3 hits, 1 run, 2 RBIs, and a walk. Just like seeing production from the catching position. I think he had one of his RBIs came in the opener, which was a very close game and brought in a key run. But just seeing the production from the catcher spot after last year just being so abysmal offensively, that was nice. That was really good to see. Something Epler went out, saw a problem, got a guy, and so far, I mean, in the limited time we saw him, he's produced. So Omar Narvaez, my player of the series.
I'm going to go with Starlin Marte because I think he is not only one of our most impactful and important pieces to this team. I actually put a question on the sheet about it. But yeah, I think he had a great series. He's always been a great hitter even before he came to the Mets. So, we saw him get a couple big hits in the opening series. So I'm going with Marte.
Best part about Marte too, I mean, we saw how important he was for when he got drilled in the hand against Pittsburgh, and we didn't have him for that final stretch of the year where we kind of fell apart in September, especially offensively. But like he comes in on a day of rest, pinch hits, gets a huge, what was it, line drive somewhere right field. I forget what the score was at the time, but it was a big play in a big spot, and he just came in fresh, came in off the bench. So that was good to see, especially with the injuries he struggled with in his core. 2 different surgeries this offseason. I hope they manage him well, because we definitely need him to be healthy down the stretch for, to go where we want to go.
How do we feel about the injury management so far, and just like the load management stuff they're doing so far? Of Nimmo not playing the whole series, Marte not playing the whole series, and all that kind of management they've been doing so far.
Nimmo was interesting. I wasn't expecting that, because for someone who's like talked so much about how he's been ramping up and like working out so much, and like I feel like it's been a theme for him this whole offseason, like how he's preparing his body. And Buck still gave him a day. That was a little concerning, honestly. What about you guys?
I mean, I'm not too worried. I feel like they're more doing it to make sure everybody is fresh for the home opener. I'm not going to say it's like a marketing thing, but potentially. I mean, they're playing how many games in a row since opening day?
7.
So and they don't have a day off until the day after the Saturdays, or the day after, I believe, Thursday's Marlin game. Do they have a day off even, or no?
Yeah, Good Friday.
Yeah.
No games.
Yeah, so that's their first day off. So I think it's more because of that. I'm intrigued to see how this load management works if they do continue it. But I've been a fan of it because, I mean, Lindor did play 161 games last year. And, yeah, that's great. But, he kind of did look burned out a little bit in the playoffs. So I'm not saying that it's a reason because he played 161 games. Like, that was awesome. But, if he doesn't need to play 161, then why not keep him more fresh?
It is definitely interesting. Going back to what you said about the playoffs, I did feel that too, that not only just Lindor, but a large majority of our team seemed pretty burnt out. So with that being said, I'm hoping that this load management style does have a positive effect on our team and their longevity come October.
And yeah, it was, I don't know, Josh, what did you think?
I like it in theory. I just worry that they're like playing, I don't know. Like they're being a little too cautious in the sense of like, well, we don't want to burn Marte out and Nimmo out, but like if this is an every week thing, that's a lot of games they're going to be missing because we're just a little afraid of what might happen down the road. So I hope it's not like a weekly thing with those guys because they are so valuable. They're the top of the order for us. And I don't really know who can replace their spots in that position and be as effective because they bring such a unique blend of contact, power, and speed that we really don't see anywhere else in this lineup.
I mean, Tommy Pham, I mean, if anything could ease you, is Tommy Pham's performance in that leadoff spot.
I mean, it eases me that he's like, I got contact so I can see now. That's nice to hear.
That was crazy. He's like, I've had 2 different, he's said he's never seen the ball like better in his whole career than he is right now because of these contact lenses. It's crazy that he's even gone this far in a pro career, most of the time not being able to see a ball or like see maybe like 2 or 3 balls. Like who knows? Yeah, but
Tommy Pham though, you wanted him cut.
You wanted him.
I did want him cut.
Yeah, you did. Come on, let's back up a little bit.
I think I have a tweet. I have a tweet that says just like straight up, Tommy Pham sucks. Because I just sometimes just tweet out like my overreaction
wild things that aren't true. Yeah, those
impulses.
Poor guy's getting lit up.
Oh yeah. I commented like on Marcus's Stroman on Marcus Stroman tweet because he was bashing Dave Portnoy. So I was just like a little reply. I didn't even expect it, but dude, just like notifications.
60,000 interactions.
Dude, it's over 100K.
Oh
My reply to the reply got like 60K.
Well, what did you reply to Marcus Stroman?
So he basically tweeted. Dave Portnoy tweeted him that he was going to bet against Marcus Stroman, and basically like implied that Marcus Stroman is a scumbag.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
and that
that's
he
not
stinks. I don't think he said that he's a scumbag, but he basically like Dave Portnoy basically like you could tell like he thinks this guy's a scumbag because he basically bashed him in this tweet.
Does Dave Portnoy know who he is, or does I don't know if Dave Portnoy's looked in a mirror lately.
But would you recall it? Dave Portnoy tweets like, "Oh, I'm betting against him," and then Stroman tweeted like, because he had a good performance, and then he tweeted after the game. So I like tweeted, I was like, "Oh, like blah blah blah." Like, of course you tweeted this after the game, not before the game. And then like, I was just joking around, dude, and Marcus Stroman fans like they're Ariana Grande fans in 2013, dude.
Wow, Stroman called Dave Portnoy. He said, "I'm betting against that crybaby Stroman out of principle," is what Portnoy said. And then Stroman responded, "Bad bet, you privileged little petty, soft, weak, proud boy."
Yeah.
Kind of got some Mark Stroman there. I don't know. I kind of like that.
Stroman buried him. He did have a good performance that day, too. He went like 7 innings, only one run.
Was like
Tough week for Dave Portnoy, by the way, just all around. When like he does that tweet about the LSU final yesterday, and now Marcus Stroman's beating him on Twitter. You know, tough.
Dude,
I mean,
he
yeah,
thinks he's a
publicity.
professional gambler.
Okay,
He says he's a professional gambler, but he's terrible.
Let's talk about the word. Let's talk about professional gambler. All right, let's talk about
Yeah, like how could you be a professional gambler? There's no way you make.
It's just like you just bet enough times, and you're like kind of like I don't know. So much of it is just like I don't know, dude.
it's like people with that kind of money, they can throw like thousands of dollars on straight bets or make plus 100 parlays, and they're gonna like double their money. Obviously, but like someone like me, I'm not throwing more than $20 on a straight or a parlay. So it's like when I win, it feels good because I'm betting 400 plus 400s minimum.
Oh yeah, I like that. Big
Small bet
risk.
kings.
Did anybody have?
Somebody commented about Marcus Stroman.
Now, this is also true. This is also true.
I was about to say like I like Marcus Stroman as a Met, but then he did leave. But we got Chris Bassett instead, and Chris Bassett was a lot better than Marcus Stroman.
Stroman did say some racist things about Anthony DeComo, where he liked those tweets. That wasn't great either. So
Wait, what did he do? What did he do with Anthony DeComo?
Yeah, that was a big thing. Like somebody was like tweeting that like they were basically calling Anthony DeComo a bunch of like fucked up shit, like racist shit, and Stroman was like caught liking the tweets, basically saying that like I guess he agrees with it. So that's a bad look on Stroman.
I guess everyone just sucks in this scenario. I think it's like the Reddit thing of like, am I the asshole? It's like everyone is in this scenario. Dave Portnoy, Marcus Stroman, the Mets offense.
I don't know how Anthony DeComo is. Anthony DeComo is not an asshole in this situation. I don't know what he did to even get called that though. Like that's
I was just asking questions, man. And getting on Stroman's nerves when asking Stroman a question when he has a bad start. Like I don't know.
Yeah, Stroman is very sensitive guy, but sometimes the sensitive guys, I got to give it to him. They're awesome. Like Stroman, I love it when he fucking fires back at people.
Great defensive pitcher.
Mm-hmm. He's always a good pitcher too. Like he's never been like a terrible pitcher. He's never been like a stud. He's having a few good moments, but he's a good pitcher.
I like Ottavino wearing 0 a lot better than him.
Oh yeah, especially because he's been a huge part of this bullpen that's been lighting it up lately. I don't know if you guys want to maybe.
We touched a little bit on the bullpen. Yeah. We touched a little bit on. I mean, Brooks. I know, Josh. I know you were really hyped. I know you had nominated Brooks Raley for also one of your player of the series. I don't know. What'd you really like? I know he had 2 strikeouts and an inning pitched. I don't know. What'd you like about him so far in that Marlins series?
I think he came up big when we really needed him to. I don't remember exactly what the situation was, but I believe he came on with runners on in the second appearance of the series and just worked his way out of it. And I think we're going to see a lot of Brooks Raley because he's the only left-hander in the bullpen. again, the Mets somehow last year were like, man, oh, no left-handers in the bullpen. Let's just do that again next year. Let's just try it out. See what happens.
We had Joely.
Okay, well, we had to trade for someone or whatever. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, we were so thin at that, and yet they're doing the same thing again. So you're going to see a lot of Brooks Raley. And I just like his stuff a lot. I think he's a really, really good arm to have in there. And just a clutch guy that can kind of slot him with Ottavino and Robertson, pitch to the 8th, 9th, whatever you need to do for that, and you'll be good.
He was in the WBC roster, right?
He was, and then he got hurt and he got took off.
Oh, I see. Well, anyway, that tournament was worthless anyway, so who cares? I don't know. What do you guys think about, having a permanent closer? Do you think it's that big of a deal, or do you think just because of the Diaz injury, it should be kind of closer by committee?
I think if they can find one, if they can develop one, like if Robertson becomes that guy, like he said he would be that guy if he has to take on that role, like that's great hearing that. He did step in for Mariano 1 year when Rivera was hurt with the New York Yankees. So he's got that closing experience in New York, which is great. I love that. Anthony Rivera of Subway to Shea was pointing that out. But yeah, I love that too. And also, we got some guys like Drew Smith's off to a great start. Like Josh was pointing out, he's got his bullpen guys. I just really love this. I like the idea of the closer by committee, but at the same time, I don't think we should just do closer by committee just so we can have Edwin Diaz come back. If Robertson ends up being a lights out closer this year, Diaz is still going to have his job back, no matter what. So I don't think we should just not have a closer set only because Diaz is hurt. I think we should, if we can find one, great. But if the closer by committee keeps working, let's keep rolling with that.
I'm all for it because there's going to be nights where your preferred guy is going to be tired because he pitched the night before or something like that. So just a nice rotation is really, really helpful to have.
Concise. Nice.
That's what they taught me.
Do you want to play devil's advocate, Drew, or you're concurring?
No, I agree. Let's get everyone in there. Let's see, because when Diaz does come back, right? Hopefully, God willing,
do not be optimistic about a patellar tendon injury, my friends.
Well, not this season. I'm not really
okay.
Well, if we're in the World Series, maybe he could.
That's right. Go Mets, so you gotta believe. You gotta believe his tendon's gonna be healed in 2 days. You gotta believe. Oh.
I'm hoping best case scenario is Diaz comes back and instantly has to compete because another closer has came up and proven that maybe he's the guy now, right? So let's see what everyone's got before we jump to any conclusions.
Well, Drew, we'll see where it goes from. We still got a long way to go. All right.
You're worried about jumping to conclusions. You're on the show with Jimmy. I'm just warning you.
If Pete Alonso strikes out 4 times tomorrow, I'm going to go for his head, probably.
Whoa. We need to trade him. Aaron Judge is the best slugger in New York.
I'll tell you what. He first conclusion of the series, or of the season, excuse me, I had a lot of people text me, early on in the game, what's going on with Senga? Oh my God, you were so wrong about Senga. And then look what happened. 5 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 3 hits, 3 base on balls, 8 strikeouts. Look at that ghost forkball. What was that saying?
All strikeouts on the ghost fork too.
Nobody's gonna hit it. Somebody's gonna hit it and take it 450, but we won't talk about that. We'll get that. We'll get there when we get there. But for right now,
speaking of jumping to conclusions, so Drew's on the James bandwagon, where you were already saying yesterday in the group chat that he's our ace.
Yeah.
You want to defend yourself on that statement? Because I guarantee Tommy Hunter in the corner over there disagrees with you.
I'm ready.
Listen, is he our ace yet? And is this a hot take? Oh, hell yeah, 100%. But look at it. We have Max Scherzer. I love Scherzer, but he's old. Verlander, he ain't even pitching yet for the Mets. So I don't even want to call him our ace yet. David Peterson, he's reliable. I love him. Tyler McGill, he's not our ace 100%. Who's our ace? This guy who was an ace in Japan and won 6 Japan Series titles. He was the Jacob deGrom in Japan for a long time. He
Jacob
put up
deGrom
better
didn't
numbers, and deGrom didn't even win. Senga was winning 6 Japan Series titles, and Shohei Ohtani had worse. Shohei Ohtani had great numbers in Japan, but Senga had even better numbers. A 1.89 ERA last year in Japan. It's ridiculous. So I think Kodai Senga will turn out to be our ace by the end of the year because he's just that good. Like Drew said, that forkball, it's disgusting. Yeah, somebody's going to take it 450 feet, but maybe once. And so Senga, he's my ace. I think he will turn into our ace by the end of the year. And he's also 30 years old. He's in his prime. So, hell yeah. I mean, I love this stuff. Shohei Ohtani finished 4th in the Cy Young voting last year. And like I said, he was better in Japan than Ohtani. So if he can translate over just like Ohtani translated over, I think we got a wild card ace on our hands.
Your rebuttal, Josh.
I mean, it's one game, and and the thing that I guess I always worry about with this is I think the Japan stats are really, really helpful to get a gauge on who he is and who he can be, but I don't think they mean that much in comparison to other players, like especially in the MLB. We could talk about a guy like Yusei Kikuchi. He was a big dude coming to Japan too. He has not panned out well. It's just I think Senga's a really good pitcher, and I think he definitely has that potential. But we also have to acknowledge that first inning was really, really rough. And if he was not playing the bottom order of the Marlins lineup, that could have gone wrong very, very quickly. So he's got his warts, and he figured it out, and that was awesome Sunday. And I think he's really, really good. But he's far from a finished product, and I think we just have to be patient, take our time. His next start will be against the
Marlins.
No, the Marlins, or will it be against the Padres?
No, I think it's the Marlins again.
You're right. It is the Marlins again on Friday or Saturday. So, I mean, familiarity might breed contempt. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I saw people were saying that it's like good for Senga to go up against the Marlins again. I don't know if it's because it was something familiar or just they were kind of poo-pooing the Marlins for, not being a good team. But, like, dude, Luis Arias.
That dude's going to give us nightmares. I can already sense it.
Oh, my God. He hits freaking everything. Like, why? Like, I saw a tweet. It was like, why did the Twins let Luis Arias go?
Because they're desperate.
I mean, I guess, and they took Correa back from us. I mean, I don't know, but like, dude, the guy is a monster. And Jorge Soler looks like he's gonna have a bounce back season from last year. Jazz Chisholm is always dangerous. But for Senga, I mean, he said walking out to the mound for his first pitch, he said his legs felt like ghosts. Like this man was so amped up. He was so nervous. And, once he did settle in, I mean, he really relied on his stuff and 8Ks on the ghost fork, like we said. And I mean, it's the potential and the ceiling is high. I don't think anyone denies that. I don't know. I'm so pumped. And just aside from the game, just like how he interacts with the press, even though he's going mostly through an interpreter. Did you guys catch this at all? Like, he's very, like, charismatic. He's, like, pretty witty. Like, he's always kind of having fun with the media and stuff. Like, dude, if this guy, this guy's got, I don't even, like, I'm just excited, man. Like, this could be really good. This could be really cool.
Did you see when, after Starling Marte made that catch, he waited for him before he got, he waited for Marte before he got into the dugout. Like,
yeah,
he didn't go in. Like, that stuff, like, that's the stuff that, like, excites me about him. Like, he's a winner. He's a proven winner over in Japan. Like I said before, 6 Japan Series titles. This guy's only 30 years old. Like you said, Jared, I think me saying it, yes, it's a little crazy. But like you even said, the ceiling is so high for Senga. The floor, I think the floor for him is also just like a 3.5 ERA guy.
So
but his ceiling, I think his floor is average and his ceiling is so great. So regardless, we got either a mid-rotation guy or we got an ace on our hands.
So if he is an average pitcher eventually and he doesn't ever get close to that ace status or even like a second rotational guy, like are you satisfied with, are you happy with Kodai Senga? Like it's not weird that it's like a, I guess, bust. It's more of like a draft term, I guess, but and maybe it's too early to even be asking this question. But like what's like the bare minimum you'd be willing to accept of like Kodai Senga's tenure with the Mets, if that makes sense? Maybe it's too early to ask, and please let me know if it is.
I think kind of similar to what Tanaka had with the Yankees. I think if we can kind of get that production out of him, I think it'd be great. I think that's what I'd be like okay with. But I really do think this guy is better than Tanaka. I think he just wasn't a pitcher in Japan. He wasn't even one of the best pitchers in Japan. He was the best pitcher in Japan. He would have been the ace of their staff in the WBC this year, but he didn't want to play because he was very committed to playing with the New York Mets. So, and like I said before, like he wants to win. So that's why I'm so hyped to even like if we can get to this postseason, because I'm gonna knock on wood still, because with the injuries that we could potentially have, and the Padres being the Padres, the Phillies, the Braves, the Dodgers, all those loaded NL teams,
The Brewers.
Yeah, even the Brewers, the Cardinals, like the NL is loaded compared to the American League. So it's still going to be a challenge even just getting to the playoffs. So I'm so excited to see Kodai in big games. Like, yes, I think it's going to be great for him going up against the Marlins again, but I cannot wait till he sees like the Braves and like we're tied in the midseason, the division, and if we win, we take
Stop
the division
making
over.
this sound fun. It's never fun when you do this.
Oh, it's fun.
Oh man, it'll be great. Where it's a tight game against our divisional rival, and if we lose, we're going to be
Kodai.
endlessly mocked. It's going to be great. That's not great at all. It's awful.
No, but honestly, though, if I have to give the ball to one guy in a big spot, it's Kodai Senga over
Okay,
Scherzer.
this is officially.
It's already in. He's
Stop
my
it.
favorite. It's
Stop.
my guy. That's my guy.
This is insane. This
Why is it insane?
Because he's saying he'd rather have him take the ball versus Max Scherzer.
Yeah, Scherzer. Did you see him in his start? Senga.
Did you see him? He was
saw-
fun. He had 2 bad pitches.
Yeah, and Senga, he was 8 Ks, only 1 earned run compared to
We'll be
Scherzer.
fair- we'll be fair to
Please,
Scherzer.
you're the biggest Senga guy. Please.
I'm a Senga guy. I love him, and I really do think because, dude, I'm not just gonna like. It's not the minor leagues in Japan. Like Japan, they just proved it. Like they're the best, one of the best countries in all of baseball. So like, I think
there's the pitch clock. There's the road. Like they took buses in Japan. He's got
Smaller ball
everything's
too in
different.
Japan.
I don't know, man. You saw that. It didn't look like that bigger ball affected him with those fork balls. He had one guy throwing the bat.
I mean, his command was really off in that first inning until
Yeah.
So
Like,
that's,
like you
couldn't
said,
find
he's
anything.
in
I'm
Japan.
worried about that though because
Even in
the base
Japan,
on
it was like
balls, he's always been known to throw walks and in a big playoff spot. Granted, even with the pitch clock, I don't want to see him like kind of walk us into a loss when it really matters. That being said, I think the more he becomes comfortable with playing in New York, because it's one thing to, like you said, the 6 Japanese championships. That's all good until you come to the Big Apple. You got drunk Italians hurling slurs and horrible things at you, and you got to go out on the mound and you got to perform. And for a lot of people, they can't handle it. And so that's why we see a lot of our former pitchers that sucked as a Met go on and be pretty good somewhere else. It's just that much more pressure. Every game at Citi Field feels like a playoff game. That's just the reality of it.
the drunk Italians.
Literally.
The drunk
Yeah,
everybody.
I
The drunk
mean,
Italians.
I love my Italians, but
No, you're not wrong, Drew. You're not wrong.
That's a lot of
I go to
monsters
Citi
out there.
Field. I go to Citi Lindor, come on!
The player I would want to keep in mind with Senga and what we're kind of expecting him and what's acceptable, I think 3.5 is probably about right. But for comparison, he's making $25 million per year, I believe, or something around that. I think it's 5 for 75. So
Yep.
maybe it's a little bit less. Chris Bassett's making $19 million a year for the next 3 years, and he's 34 now. We're getting Senga at around the same price, 4 years younger, to just pick up Bassett's, starts and everything like that in production. So if he can do that, I think it'll be fine. Anything less than that, it's a big contract, and you'd want a little more.
Yeah, I think it's only 15 mil a year, but you mentioned Bassett. Bassett stunk today or yesterday, I think it was. Seth Lugo, though, former Met man, he dominated though. So 1-1, even though DeGrom sucked too. So really 1-2 ratio there.
We're forgetting a big player here, Noah Syndergaard.
Oh, how'd he do?
Very good yesterday. Unfortunately, I hate that guy. Oh my entire every bone in my body hates that guy. I hate him so much.
If you saw him in person, you'd still shake his hand. Don't
I'd
lie.
slap him in the face.
Whoa.
And I know I can kick his ass. You see me? I'll kick his ass. Just come there and rip it out.
This is a very weird episode. Because you'd be being like, I'd rather take the one guy with one start over Max Scherzer, who's like an 8-time Hall of Famer, a 3-time Cy Young Award winner.
8-time Hall of Famer.
And then Drew's like, I could beat up Noah Syndergaard right now. Hell in a Cell. It's like, are we okay? Somehow I'm
Tables, ladders, and chairs. Bring it all. Tell him to meet me in the Citi Field parking lot.
So he has to show up there in the first place
away.
to do it, and he won't do that. So,
all right, to kind of bring in this weird show a little bit with the 15 minutes that we have left. Kind of a weird note. I mean, we can't not talk about, our Syracuse Mets. 4 hours north on Route 81 if you live where I live. Dude, that is probably one of the best AAA teams we've seen in a long time. And it's all because of that man, Brett Beatty. Like 4 hits, grand slam, a couple really nice defensive plays at third base too. And Eduardo Escobar, and I hate to say it because I love Eduardo Escobar, and I actually rewatched the highlights from his, the month of Escobar game against the Marlins, including the post-game interview, which is probably one of the best things I've ever watched in my entire life. Like instant serotonin boost if you go watch that whenever you're feeling down. But with Escobar down bad and Brett Beatty balling out in AAA, I mean, I know we all said July or June for a Beatty call up. But how soon is too soon, and when does Escobar's seat become to get really hot?
I think he has a bit of a leash just because of the last 2 months of last year. I'd honestly personally give him a month if it was up to me. But I mean, if he continues like what he's been doing now, it's going to be tough for him after a month, especially if Beatty continues to like rake down in AAA. But, if you look at Eduardo Escobar, I mean, compared to last season, he kind of looks out of shape. Like, I'm not going to say maybe this is the reason he's off to a horrible start, but he doesn't look like he's in the best of shape. If you look at what he was in the last 3 months last year, he was in really good shape. So maybe that's what it is. I don't know, but regardless, leash-wise, I'd give him a month. After that, if he's still doing what he's doing now, and Brett Beatty's still doing what he's doing now, then I think the Mets have no choice but to call Brett Beatty up.
I would agree. I think end of April is where things are going to get really, really antsy. The one thing I think standing in a Beatty call up earlier is that we have Buck Showalter, who's an older guy. He likes Beatty, obviously, but he's talked about his defensive game that still needs an improvement, which, valid or not, I think Buck Showalter's a guy who loves his veterans, who loves his guys. There's a reason Tommy Hunter's on this team still, and it's because Buck Showalter likes him, and Showalter likes Escobar. And whether that's good or bad or whatnot, I don't know, but I think you're going to really ride the veteran hand first before we go to the young buck.
I mean, who doesn't like Eduardo Escobar though? Like it's actually like hard to like root against him. Does that make sense? Like we all want to see Beatty up, but it's like at the expense of this guy.
Well, but you can't put ahead your player's personality versus his performance. If he's not performing at a certain point, he could be the nicest guy in the world, but it's not going to cut it anymore.
That's true. I mean, and it's not like I don't think Escobar would even get moved like DFA'd like Ruff. I think he would just move to the bench, maybe in a DH role, like a hybrid role. I mean, at the end of the day, he can still play third base, second base, first base. I think he can play a corner outfield spot, even though we haven't seen him do it. He has done it in his career. So he's still got that flexibility where we can keep him on the roster. And, I think Beatty is just we all know that offensively he's ready. Defensively, he may not. But we also, our DH is a question mark too. So I think we just got to see how it turns out with time.
Pains me to say this, but it's a message for Buck. We got flights from Syracuse to Milwaukee. 305. It's not bad.
305.
It's not terrible one way. No, but I mean, obviously like you said, I really do like Escobar. I think him as a Met it brings everyone up. I like the stuff he's doing on social media. He brings a good presence in the clubhouse, and he's that veteran status that we talked about. However, you are batting .63 in 4 games. If I see another 0 for 4 game, I'm gonna lose my mind. I might drive off a cliff. I don't. It's just
Wow.
You're taking stuff out of Josh's playbook, dude.
You'll
I
never
know.
fight
I mean-
Noah Syndergaard if you do that.
trust me, I will come out of the grave for him. No, but it's tough because, as I said in the preseason show, you're playing with all this pressure to begin with, and now you have Brett Biggity who's chopping it up in AAA. So now it's really crunch time. Like, you either really got to perform or you're going to get replaced. So
Yeah, and he's striking out a lot too. He struck out 7 times in only 16 plate appearances. It's almost Diaz numbers striking out his guys. Like, he's almost at 50% strikeouts to start the year. And he hasn't even got on base with a walk. So it's like you're not even working the count. His swing is so much slower this year. That's why I really think he is showing up out of shape this year, because his swing is so much slower. It's like longer in a sense. But, I mean, I'm not the New York Mets hitting coach, so I really can't knock Escobar that much. But, it's just he does look a little pudgy.
Hey, we love our pudgy team. Our pudgy players.
Oh, Vogie and Alonso need to be pudgy.
But like Escobar, I feel
You
like
know?
Escobar always kind of has like that little bit of a beer belly.
He's a stout
Yeah.
guy.
Like, he's only playing baseball. Like, it's not like he's running
He's a
like
guy-
marathons. Like, you're standing around most of the time. Like,
He's not trying to fight Noah Syndergaard. He's just fielding balls at third, guys.
yeah.
That's all.
hey, I will say, I was by far the worst baseball player I ever knew. But when it comes to fighting Noah Syndergaard, I'll be there no matter
He's
what.
got it. He's got it. If that ever becomes a position in the big leagues in the next CBA, it's like, all right, we got our DH and then our professional Syndergaard fighter. I think we got ours.
I have a rule though: if you ever do fight him, you can't be cheap and pull him by his ponytail. You got to go man to man. Just
No, that's not true. If you grow out the ponytail, you deserve to get it grabbed. I think if you're a guy,
I mean, I
That's
used to
a
have
good
long
point.
hair.
be like
Not
a
long ago.
Viking and just go with it long and like a Dothraki. Well, Dothraki said ponytail,
George
so
Kittle?
never mind, but like, yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something really cool about like a guy with just really long hair and just like tussling it up with guys. But like the ponytail, it's like, come on, man,
Just
I don't
tussing
look
it
as
up.
cool. Yeah. I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
Escobar does got to figure it out, though,
he
before Beatty does take his spot, because Beatty is actually
he does,
just went
and
4
maybe
for 4 at the
it
Grand
would be better
Slam.
for him to come off in a bench role. I don't know.
Even Vientos is having a nice little spring training. So like both third basemen are really pushing their time clock up forward.
I mean,
Well,
our farm
Vientos-
is looking like Farmville my Farmville in 2008. It's just like everyone's cooking, and it's great to see. But the actual New York Mets can't hit a ball to save their lives. So
For now, we can't hit a ball. Today, we can't hit a ball to save our lives, and you know what? That's gonna happen. I mean, obviously, we're a little upset that it happened this early in the season. I mean, 3 hits that's tough. It's really tough seeing that in the box score. But hopefully, they work their way out. I mean, that's all we can. Jimmy, what are you drinking? Is that a Bud Light?
I love it. It's
Yeah,
Monday night,
I-
baby.
I was
He's taking this
drink a
loss really
beer.
hard.
I drank a beer for dinner, so I figured,
Just
hey, why not?
just one beer for dinner.
It's just that. It's that.
Like no
518
food,
air.
just no food, just the tall boy Bud Light. That's it.
He's gonna be like Liver
Well-
King, but for beer.
Dude, like, I don't know. There's just something about a Bud Light, man.
I'm a Miller guy. I don't know.
Really? I like Miller too, but I don't know. I'm just Bud Light, man. It's just like the brand, the name, the right when you crack it, that foam right when it hits your mouth.
Pause.
Doesn't every other beer do that though?
I don't know about that.
Dude, Bud Light, man. All I'm saying is Bud Light's the best beer out there.
Whoa. We're not giving free promotions. We're not getting paid.
Oh, Bud Light always gets free promotions.
All right. Well,
Well, let's see how we did in our predictions for the Marlins series. So
I did horrible. I predicted a sweep,
Yeah,
so I was actually
Jimmy
off.
predicted we didn't do Brewers predictions. I guess we kind of already lost a day. So I don't know, but Jimmy predicted a Marlins Mets sweep. I actually got it right. Mets winning 3-1. And then Josh predicted a series split, a 2-2. He was wrong. And Drew also predicted a series split and was wrong as well. So suck it, guys. I was the only one right.
Might be fighting you next.
Come at me, bro. Yeah. So I guess going forward for the rest of the Brewers series, not including today, I don't know. What are you guys' predictions? How's tomorrow gonna go?
I hope tomorrow we come off to a hot start. I mean, Max Scherzer, I hope we don't let up 10 runs with him on the mound. I hope this Mets team, this Mets offense, a little bit pissed about getting shut out for the first time in just, 5 games now? So let's see how they can bounce back tomorrow. I think that'll really show us if we should be over panicking too early or if we should just be like, okay, 10-0 loss, it happens. I mean, we only got no hit by Max Scherzer like twice the year we went to the World Series.
So Jimmy, are you 2-1 or so you're 2-1?
Oh, I didn't. Yeah. I'm going with, honestly, I'm gonna go with probably 2 losses. Then I'll do 2 losses this series. So I'll take a win tomorrow for the Scherzer start, and then for the David Peterson start, I'll take a loss because I think he might get the Jacob deGrom treatment again.
Drew, what about you?
I'm gonna agree with that. I think Scherzer has a better start. Well, he did have a good start, but I think he has a good start tomorrow. I think we lose another game this series, but with all things, once you hit rock bottom, knock on wood, the only way you can go is up. So 10-0 is tough, but it's not the end of the season. It's just one game.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the 2-1 series win for the Mets.
Wow.
It'd be wrong of me because I'm always the optimistic one here. But I mean, just seeing how this team used to bounce back last year, like it was super rare for them to lose back-to-back games. I don't know the exact number, but it was a thing. Like Mets lost first day, they were or in deciding games of series, the Mets had like a crazy record. Obviously, down the stretch that didn't really work out, but during the regular season early on, this team was pretty good in rubber matches. So I'm gonna go 2-1. We're gonna win the next 2. It'll be Scherzer and then Peterson again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's right.
that'll be good. I mean, with the time we have left, it's how disappointing is it that we're still not seeing Justin Verlander?
I mean, if only someone could have thought that a 38-year-old or a 40-year-old, sorry, I didn't mean to make him sound younger than he is, could get hurt.
Yeah, it's and the injury too. It's like it's a muscle in his armpit,
That's
and
right.
he's like, yeah, it's been bothering me like through spring training, but it's something that you normally play through. I don't know. He's still throwing the ball, so it's not terrible, but I don't know, man.
I'll be honest. If I was going home to Kate Upton, I'd be making up fake injuries too, man. Let's be real.
Tyler McGill, 2nd year in a row, home opener starter.
Yeah, Jimmy, how pissed are you? You bought that ticket with Justin Verlander probably being the starter, and how much you paid?
Yeah.
I bet right now the tickets are home opener is probably still going to be a little bit pricey.
I got to steal because I was on the Game Time app, another free promotion.
Jesus.
But I was on the Game Time app and I was scrolling through the ticket prices in like December. And there's always sometimes like one really nice dude who'll post like a really cheap ticket in the section 100s. So like the starting prices for 500s are like $109. And then I found like a ticket price for like right in the right field, section 101, I believe we're sitting in. It was only like $120. So, and then the ticket prices for there are usually like 300. So I was like, I gotta get it. Like section 100, maybe catching a Lindor bomb.
Yeah, right now in Game Time, you could sit in the promenade outfield for like 102.
Yeah.
There's some flash deals too. $90 for all upper level stuff.
You could find some if you really get to scrolling, like you might find that really nice fan. Because like I even looked at the Jets tickets, bro, one day, and it was like some really nice fan put like the the stadium seats, like the coaches club seats for like $95. It was like so cheap or something like that.
I remember
This
that.
is awkward to become plugs for 2 different things in the last 15 minutes.
All right. Let's actually try to maybe plug ourselves. So, Jimmy, let the audience know, our wide range of viewers, where they could find our stuff going forward.
We always have our link tree still that you can just go on our social media at themetsway.com and just check out our social media. Sometimes we live tweet and stuff like that, but we also got the metsway.com up, which is now going to be more for blogs. We're also going to have our podcast up there as well playing, but we got 3 blogs up right now. The boys are going to be blogging. If you're a college student or just graduated and you're bored and you want to blog about the Mets, hit us up. We can add you as a contributor and you can just start blogging about the Mets. But yeah, just check it out. And we're going to be writing a lot. So
sweet. Anything else from anybody else? I'm all set.
I think we're all good.
All right. Well, we got tomorrow. First pitch is at what? 7:40. Oh, great. Nice late game. Enjoy the NCAA championship tonight in like an hour and a half.
Can I comment on that real quick? This is
basketball?
Bogus. Yeah, this is bogus. That it's 9:20 start. What are we doing here?
It is a little. It's a little crazy. I know you like to get your sleep too.
The NCAA screwed its players forever, and now they're screwing the fans. It's like, come on. It's in Houston. You guys are an hour back. You guys want to start at 8:20? That's ridiculous.
And think about the kids that are actually in college that have class tomorrow. They got like 8 a.m.s.
No one in college falls asleep before midnight. Relax.
I did. I was a good boy.
You got some.
Yeah.
That's not. Don't flex that, Josh. Come on, man.
I know Drew has a few nights.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fighting Noah Syndergaards in the bar.
Yeah. On a Monday? Yeah.
Yeah.
Start drinking 6 o'clock.
If it was Noah Syndergaard, probably like noon.
Oh, especially
if I knew I
this
had
week.
that fight coming.
All right. That's it. Thanks for tuning in.
On that note.
And as always, I'm going to leave the general public with the greatest 3 words in all of major sports.
You gotta believe.
Let's go Mets!
I can talk.